There are few times when the patient is more vulnerable than on the day of their surgery. The most important role preoperatively, I would say, is making the connection with the patient, gaining their confidence, and when you make the bond or the connection with the patient, you know that you are going to take care of relieving a lot of the anxiety so that when they go into the surgery, they're in the best mental state they can be. If they go to sleep very calm and relaxed, the immediate post-operative phase is going to go better for them and smoother. I went out and met this lovely woman who was 89 years old. While I was asking her who had brought her to the hospital that day, she smiled and was telling me how her husband and her grandson were in the waiting area. And I remember at the time when we were interviewing her, the anesthesiologist had come out and we were asking her about what was her secret to a successful long marriage. And she said it was communication, that she told him what needed to be done and he did it. And so we kind of giggled about that for a minute. And I knew that by the time I gathered all the information and went through the interview process, that I felt that she was in a very good place. You're never going to eliminate, all of their anxiety, but if you can minimize it, that's the goal.
So Enrique is a beautiful 9-year-old boy from South America who came to the emergency room at Mass General about 18 months ago with his family, and he had liver failure of an unknown etiology. We tried very hard to keep his normal routine, along with his mom and dad, who were, intimately involved and very, very close to him, and worked very hard to normalize his life while he was in the ICU. He got an infection, which made it prohibitive for him to get a transplant. So he was quite sick at that point, and he was intubated and on a ventilator and on multiple drugs to keep his blood pressure stable and his heart strong, and lots of antibiotics to help this infection. But at that point, his kidneys began to fail, and he ended up dying before getting a transplant. One of our jobs as nurses is to allow a patient to have a dignified life as well as a dignified death. In a situation where we, as medical people, can't offer anymore, it's important for us to be able to step back and say, again, this is your child. How do you envision his death? How do you envision a peaceful end for him? When they looked at him, they saw him. They did not see the machines. They did not see the pumps and the medications and the drips and the IVs. They were able to see him and see him at peace. And I think that was crucially important for them. One of the hardest things we do in nursing, what I do in nursing, is to think about a child being perfectly well one day and to be deathly ill the next, to see, the huge amount of loss that these people endure when they have to take their child out of their normal home and bring them to us. They couldn't have loved him any more than they did. They could not have loved him any more than they did. It's one of our jobs, is to do it right for a family, for a patient, even with a sad, discouraging end. We have to do it the right way.